And Lewis Hamilton goes from P6 to P5 to P4 in a couple of laps.
What if your biggest comeback happened where the pressure is highest? What if your teammate couldn't hide his anger after watching you shine? At the 2025 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton made headlines not just for where he finished, but for how he got there. This wasn't just a race, it was a turning point. Hamilton's brilliance lit up Imola, while Leclerc's fury told a different story. In one weekend, the balance inside Ferrari may have changed forever. Lewis Hamilton, new to the red team, turned a rough qualifying into a powerful comeback. Charles Leclerc, on the other hand, found himself stuck in a race that slipped out of his hands. His frustrations didn't just stay behind the visor, they echoed across the paddock. Hamilton's Imola Masterclass. Starting from the 12th, Hamilton looked like a man on a mission. He carved through the midfield with purpose, avoiding chaos, timing his pit stop perfectly, and using every inch of his experience. Passing Albon, then his own teammate, he rose to 4th place by the end. After the race, he said, "I didn't think we would end up 4th today," with a grin that said more than words could. It wasn't just the position, it was the statement. In front of the Tifosi, he didn't just drive a race, he announced his arrival. Leclerc's frustration boils over. Leclerc, starting one spot ahead in 11th, had the opposite kind of Sunday. His strategy didn't work out, the safety car timing was brutal, and then came the team radio message give the position back to Albon. That was the last straw. He snapped over the radio, calling the situation a fuck-tutting joke. That's how racing is now. When you can't pass, you need to let pass. This is a feekin' joke. What did I do wrong? He fumed. Afterward, his disappointment was written all over his face. I know that when it's like this, you go very much on the limit, sometimes a little bit over. But when you are starting P11, as a driver, I just cannot accept the situation we are in. For Leclerc, this wasn't just a bad race. It felt like everything that could go wrong. A crucial weekend for Ferrari Imola is more than just a race for Ferrari. It's a test of pride, a weekend where the team is under a microscope and the crowd expects magic. Coming off a poor qualifying, Ferrari needed a miracle. Hamilton delivered it. Leclerc, meanwhile, got caught in the same storm but didn't make it out clean. The fans came for a Ferrari celebration. What they got was a split screen. One car rising, the other fading. The garage echoed both cheers and silence. Hamilton finds his rhythm. As the race went on, Hamilton looked more like his old self, sharp on the brakes, smart with his tires, smooth on the overtakes. He stayed calm when others panicked and made each move count. This wasn't just about one race. It was about a champion settling into his new team and showing flashes of something big. His rhythm didn't come from luck. It came from patience, precision, and pure race instinct. It felt like vintage Lewis, dressed in red. Leclerc's radio rage. If Hamilton's race was about control, Leclerc's was about chaos. The pit wall messages, the tire strategy, the bad timing, it all built up. And when the team told him to give up a place after fighting for it, his anger spilled out. This wasn't a one-off reaction. It was the voice of a driver who's been under pressure for a while and is starting to crack. His emotions weren't just frustration. They were warnings that the balance in the team was shifting. Internal tension rising. 2 star drivers in one team. It sounds like a dream, but it can quickly become a storm. Hamilton is cool, collected, and clearly finding form. Leclerc is fiery, emotional, and tired of coming up short. Ferrari is now walking a tightrope. Let one shine too bright and you risk losing the other. The dynamics are changing. Leadership inside the team is no longer assumed. It's earned on Sundays. Smart strategy for one Ferrari's race engineers played their cards right, at least for one driver. Hamilton's extended first stint, the well-timed VSC stop, and solid car setup turned things around. It was a reminder that Ferrari can get it right, but they have to do it for both drivers, not just one. When they do, the team looks strong. When they don't, the cracks are loud and clear. The other side of strategy for Leclerc, everything that worked for Hamilton didn't happen. He missed the window, got stuck in traffic, and had nothing left for the final laps. It wasn't just misfortune, it was a strategy mismatch that left him exposed. And in F1, when you're exposed, everyone passes. That helpless feeling showed in how he drove and how he spoke. Leclerc didn't just feel defeated, he felt let down. After the checkered flag. When the race ended, the contrast couldn't be clearer. Hamilton was smiling, waving to the Tifosi. Leclerc walked away quickly, head down. Their post-race words matched their mood. One was already thinking about how to build on this. The other was wondering what went wrong again. The story of this race wasn't written in laps. It was written in body language. The fans feel it. Ferrari fans are passionate. They want wins, but they also want hope. At Imola, Hamilton gave them that. His moves brought cheers. His pace brought belief. But they haven't forgotten Leclerc. His struggle left many feeling torn. It's not just about performance, it's about loyalty. The red car is a symbol. The drivers inside it become heroes or heartbreaks. Management's balancing act, Frédéric Vasseur, has a real challenge now. Hamilton has brought a new energy. Leclerc still has deep roots, but one feels lifted, the other weighed down. Vasseur has to keep both engaged without letting tensions explode, because one small crack can break a team apart. Managing Ferrari isn't just about lap times, it's about emotion, culture, and keeping egos aligned. Ferrari thought they had a dream duo, but after Imola, it's clear only one driver is living that dream. If Hamilton keeps this form, they could disrupt the title fight. Leclerc still has time, but the gap is widening. Internally, this battle might shape their season more than any rival on the grid. Titles aren't just won with speed, they're won with unity. And right now, that's the real challenge. The road ahead. Every race from now is more than just points. It's a test of teamwork, leadership, and belief. Will Ferrari bring both drivers forward, or will they ride the momentum of the one who's already rising? The road ahead isn't just about upgrades. It's about decisions that define the future. Imola gave us more than just racing. It gave us a new chapter in the Ferrari story. Hamilton, calm and composed, showed why he's still a force. Leclerc, burning with frustration, reminded us how tough F1 can be. The question isn't just what Ferrari will do next. It's how long they can keep both of these stars shining without burning the house down. Don't miss a second of what's coming. Subscribe now and follow every twist in this wild Ferrari ride.
I don't know. Well, clearly the car is capable of being P3, so Charles did a great job today, so I can't blame him for that.
Lewis Hamilton has just fired back with a shocking response, and what's just been revealed has left Formula One fans worldwide stunned. For days, tensions built between the former Ferrari replacement and his predecessor. Until now, Hamilton, the 7-time world champion whose move to the Scuderia shook the F1 world, has made comments about their Miami collision that completely contradict Sainz's narrative, praising the very move that Sainz claimed violated racing rules. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari's newest star driver, delivered a surprisingly gracious assessment after his wheel-banging incident with Williams driver Carlos Sainz during the closing stages of the Miami Grand Prix. Born and raised in Stevenage, England, Hamilton revolutionized the dynamic between the two drivers after their controversial last-lap contact, accumulating an astonishing 7 world championships throughout his illustrious career, while Sainz remained searching for his 5th Grand Prix victory. In a post-race interview that has the F1 world buzzing, Sainz offered a pointed critique of Hamilton's defensive driving. He moved as soon as he saw me dive, and that created contact, which I think is quite typical, honestly. But obviously, if you follow exactly the rule book, he cannot move as much as he did, but on the last lap, that's how it goes. The Williams driver's comments suggested Hamilton had bent racing regulations with his defensive tactics, implying the Ferrari driver had engaged in questionable driving standards. What makes Hamilton's response particularly remarkable is that instead of firing back with criticism, he delivered the ultimate psychological counterpunch, genuine praise. Despite Sainz clearly suggesting rule violations, Hamilton stunned the paddock by stating, "It was fine. I think it was a good move from him." This unexpected show of sportsmanship directly contradicts Sainz's narrative and completely diffuses the brewing tension between the two champions in a masterclass of psychological warfare. Hamilton's strategic brilliance extended far beyond basic racing during the Miami Grand Prix weekend. He was one of the most diplomatic figures in the entire paddock, balancing competitive intensity with championship-caliber sportsmanship. a combination that proved crucial in high-stakes moments when tensions flared between drivers. This revolutionary approach was most famously executed during his post-race interviews, where he acknowledged his own struggles. "On the final lap, I lost the rear tires, I lost a lot of tire following Charles, and they were getting destroyed. Carlos got into DRS range in the last corner, I tried to turn into the apex and he was there. We touched a bit." The specific details of the incident reveal racing stewards' tactical assessment and ability to analyze the nuanced contact between former teammates. When investigated by race officials, their ruling stated, "Car 55 attempted an overtake on the inside of car 44 into turn 17, and both cars made contact at the apex." The stewards determined that both drivers contributed to the incident, as car 55 did not clearly get in a position to have the right to the racing line according to the driving standards guidelines, and at the same time, car 44 turned into the corner earlier than usual. This level of detailed analysis and refusal to assign blame sets an important precedent for last-lap racing incidents and provides Formula One with crucial guidance for managing similar scenarios in future races. As multiple F1 analysts acknowledged after witnessing the controversial incident, the steward's decision that no driver is deemed predominantly to blame represents a balanced approach to racing incidents. Indeed, while spectators commonly attributed fault to either Hamilton or Sainz based on team allegiances, racing insiders have long recognized that every calculated defensive move and critical overtaking attempt involves shared risk and responsibility from both competitors. The importance of this driver relationship is something modern Formula One teams understand deeply. With Sainz having been essentially replaced by Hamilton at Ferrari for the 2025 season, their on-track interactions carry an unavoidable subtext about Ferrari's driver choices. This sentiment echoes the critical role that team dynamics now play in Formula One's psychological battles, a tradition and standard of excellence that Hamilton's response brilliantly navigates. Hamilton's influence at Ferrari extends far beyond his on-track expertise. He represents the organization's commitment to securing championship-caliber talent during their most ambitious title campaign in recent memory. Under his leadership, Ferrari established performance standards and a culture of excellence that permeates every aspect of the team's identity throughout their pursuit of both the drivers' and constructors' championships. Even after their on-track contact, Hamilton remained focused on Ferrari's larger performance issues rather than dwelling on the incident. While many drivers would fixate on the controversial contact, he concentrated on solving the team's more significant challenges. "I think this car really does have performance. We're just not... Something's holding us back at the moment. We've lost performance since China. It's there. It's just we can't use it, so we need a fix for that." This level of mature leadership and priority setting sets Hamilton apart from many of his competitors who might become distracted by individual racing incidents. Hamilton's impact goes far beyond just the race results. He has changed how drivers deal with problems after races, like mind games and talking to the media. He's one of the smartest and most skilled speakers in Formula One today, showing how valuable experience still is when it comes to fighting for championships at the top level. For those who truly understand Formula One's psychological battles and the complexity of driver dynamics, Hamilton's gracious response represents far more than just diplomatic phrasing or mechanical PR training. It embodies an unwavering pursuit of excellence, adaptability, and strategic communication that could define an entire season of driver interactions. As many industry observers have noted, Lewis Hamilton may be new to Ferrari, but he never needed Maranello's red to establish his own legacy in the sport. The Miami Grand Prix serves as a fitting display of Hamilton's true character. It also provides an important reminder that behind every great champion stands a sophisticated understanding of racing psychology that, while often overlooked by casual fans, is absolutely essential to championship success at Formula One's highest level. Hamilton's story goes beyond racing, showing the power of mental fortitude and psychological mastery in the face of direct criticism from competitors. His journey proves that experience, maturity, and championship DNA can reshape not just single incidents, but the entire narrative surrounding driver conflicts. From his early days as McLaren's young star to becoming arguably the greatest Formula One driver in history, now racing for Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton has left his mark on countless moments that will help define the next chapter of motorsport history. As the Formula One world digests this latest revelation about Hamilton's surprising response, it's worth reflecting on the full scope of his potential impact on Ferrari's championship ambitions. Beyond the impressive resume, 7 world championships and 103 Grand Prix victories, lies a blueprint for championship leadership that continues to influence how elite drivers operate today. From executing flawless race strategy to managing delicate team dynamics, Hamilton's vision could help transform Ferrari from perennial contenders into championship favorites despite their current performance struggles. Subscribe now if you're ready for the next bombshell in this championship war.
Welcome. Quick photo, guys. Lewis. Happy for it. All right, ready? Right here. Ready me? Ready me right here? Good. I'm gonna do one more. Hold on. Cut that too. Ready? Good. Got it.
Got it? Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher has delivered a bombshell prediction about Lewis Hamilton's future at Ferrari. The 6-time Grand Prix winner suggests the 7-time world champion may retire before his contract expires at the end of 2026. Schumacher's assessment comes after analyzing Hamilton's struggles during his first season with Ferrari. Hamilton currently sits 7th in the drivers' standings with 31 points after 5 races. His Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc holds a 16-point advantage, having outqualified Hamilton on 4 of 5 occasions. The British driver has managed one top-5 finish in Sunday races, while his only bright spot came with a sprint race victory in China. He just can't cope with the car, Schumacher told Sky Germany's F1 podcast. We talk a lot about Lando Norris and his lack of belief, but it's almost worse with him. You can see that he's really slumped over. Schumacher draws from personal experience to explain his prediction. As someone who competed at the highest level for teams including Jordan, Williams, and Toyota, he understands the psychological toll of struggling to adapt late in one's career. If you're standing there at some point and have no more resources and are permanently slower, then you lose everything, Schumacher explained. I know from my own experience, if it goes on like this, it's no fun anymore. The former driver describes a potential breaking point for Hamilton. Then at some point, he wakes up in the morning and thinks to himself, "Why am I doing this to myself? I'm no longer having fun. I can't do it anymore. I am getting in the way of my team." Hamilton's difficulties began immediately after joining Ferrari in winter 2025, ending an 11-year partnership with Mercedes. The 40-year-old driver has struggled to match Leclerc's pace, particularly evident in Saudi Arabia, where he finished over 30 seconds behind his teammate. Schumacher identifies a deeper pattern in Hamilton's struggles. If it goes on like this, there's a risk that at some point he'll say, "Look, I don't want this anymore. I want to live my life now. I'm 40 years old. I'm so rich. I'm not doing this to myself anymore." Obviously, it's not working out for some reason. The German recognizes Hamilton's proven abilities remain intact. However, China also showed that as soon as he gets into the car and the track and the car suit him, he delivers. There's still something to come. Ferrari management maintains high expectations for their blockbuster signing. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur provides unwavering support, stating, "I will be 2,000% behind him." Schumacher said, "The expectations are very high, and Ferrari wants value for money. That means he has to make sure he performs. He probably will, because China was no accident." Hamilton acknowledges his adaptation challenges directly. "When I joined Mercedes, the first 6 months were tough, getting attuned to working with new people. Obviously, the engineers that I'm working with now are used to setting up the car for a different driver and a different driver style, and I'm used to driving a car with a different driving style." The contrast between veteran and rookie adaptability emerges when comparing Hamilton to Oliver Bearman. Ferrari Academy driver Bearman has shown competitive speed at Haas, leading the qualifying head-to-head against teammate Esteban Ocon 3-2.